StrayAllDay.com.
Now tuned into the show where you learn the discipline to show up day after day to do the work, the confidence to put yourself out there boldly and authentically, and the mental toughness to continue showing up, doing the work, putting yourself out there even when the success you're expected to achieve has yet to be achieved. And on top of all this, you get a huge dose of personal initiative, which is the go-getter energy that moves any one of us, including yourself, to go and make things happen instead of waiting for things to happen. And then you put all this together into a series of frameworks, approaches, insights, strategies, and techniques underneath the umbrella of one unifying philosophy that is called Work on Your Game. My name is Dre Baldwin, also known as Dre All Day, and welcome to the show. And today's topic is every energy is useful. Before we get into this, what it means and where it's going, I remind you all of two specific things. First of all, my daily motivation and Monday motivation messages guaranteed to have you focused, sharp, and on point to start your day or your week respectfully. All you got to do is be a member of my texting community. It is free to join. Text me at the number 305-384-6894. And just so you know that we have been on a hiatus from sending the messages, but once we start sending them again, you'll be getting those straight to your phone. Our bot will inform you that they're coming, and then you'll be getting them straight from me. And those are actually me sending those texts. And yes, you can respond to them. Yes, I will respond back to. I don't respond to every single message I get back because I get a good amount, but I will respond back to messages as well. So again, just text me. That number is down in the description to wherever you're listening to this. Secondly, Work on Your Game University. That's the place where you can get coached by me directly. You get access to all of our trainings. You can get access to me on our live coaching calls, and is the best way for you to get started in taking the next step in your Work on Your Game journey. Again, that is all at workonyourgameuniversity.com. That link is also in the description to this episode, wherever you are consuming this. And with that out of the way, let's get into the topic here today, which is every energy is useful. So if you are familiar with the work that we do over here, you may have heard me say this before, and if you're new, then this will be the first time you heard me say it, but it will not be the last, that energy is 85% of the job in life. And 85, as I'm being generous, it might be 90 or 97% of the job in life, but energy is a huge need when it comes to anything you want to achieve in life. You need energy. Our energy is simply defined scientifically as a capacity to do work. And we've talked about people and men specifically being prepared to do their best work. I've also talked about this in many master classes where when I talk about energy, it's one of the 5 forms of investment along with time, money, attention, and focus. And also in episodes on competition, how certain energies can be used to help you perform at your highest possible level, especially when you have an opponent to defeat. So you can say that energy is a very important thing in our world. I think we all can agree with that. So today I'm going to explain to you how every energy, and actually any energy, is useful regardless of what it is, regardless of where it came from, and even if it's an energy that you actually, in the moment, don't want. Every energy is still useful. Your job then, as I'll explain here today, is to simply figure out how to use any energy that you do have towards your desired end, even if the energy you have right now is not the one that you want. Point number 1, today's topic, once again, is every energy is useful. Number 1, as I told you in the introduction, energy is 85% of the job. When you have energy, which is again the capacity to do work, the more of it you have, the more effect you potentially can have on other people, places, things, circumstances, and even yourself. That just makes sense, right? The more energy you have, the more potential you have to make an impact. If you have no energy at all, what would happen? If you literally had zero energy, you actually be dead. They would call that death. Or you'd be laying on the floor, incapable of making physical movements simply because you have no energy to move. You couldn't even stand up straight if you didn't have any energy. You couldn't sit up straight, stand up straight, blink your eyes. Your heart wouldn't beat if you had zero energy whatsoever. So everybody has some level of energy to even be alive, because that's the only way your body continues to function. You lose all energy, then it's over. And when you don't have any energy, let's just say on a simple level, then you probably don't have the potential to make anything happen because you're not going to do anything. You're not going to take any action. You are in a state of lethargy when you have no energy. So when two entities are relatively equal in ability and in resources, the one with the higher level of energy and a higher level of certainty and belief is the one who usually gets to have their way. They're the one who usually wins, if you want to call it, if you want to make it a binary between winning and losing. Two entities relatively equal in ability and resources, the one who controls the situation is the one who has a higher energy. That energy can be of confidence, it can be of certainty, it can be of action, it can be of just how you show up, aura. All of those things are different forms of energy, but they're all energy. Remember, the energy is neither created nor destroyed. All right, we'll talk about that a little bit more as we move on. So this is why someone can have, or how someone can have less skills than another and fewer resources than someone, yet they can still achieve a goal and or come out on top in a competitive situation, even though they are clearly not as skilled or as resourced as their opponents. Energy moves people to action. It stimulates thinking. It stimulates creativity. And when our energy is right, we are moving, we are motivated, if you will, to do things that we otherwise would not do. Has any of you ever been in a circumstance in your life or known of someone in a circumstance in which it seemed that the odds against them were insurmountable? The odds were stacked against them. It didn't look like they could ever turn their circumstance into a winning situation, but because they were able to find and utilize the right energy on a consistent basis, they were able to achieve an outcome that looked like, and to most people, and for most people, it would never have turned into a victory, but they were able to turn into a victory. All of you have seen that. If you haven't, go watch a Disney movie or any hero super action flick, and you'll see it. That's exactly what happens. The odds are stacked way against this person, and somehow they find the energy, whether you want to call it motivation, inspiration, uh, uh, anger, excitement, whatever it is, they find the energy to move themselves to, again, overcome odds that seem insurmountable simply because they ratcheted up their energy level. It's the same thing that any of us can do in any time, in any aspect of our lives. Remember, energy is simply the capacity to do work. You need it to get things done. Again, it doesn't matter what the energy is. And I'll tell you why that is a point as we move on to point number two. Today's topic, once again, is every energy is useful. Number two, it's the concept of transmutation. Transmutation is something that we talked about a few episodes ago, where I explained to you how to position yourself as being at your highest level, or to be at your highest level mentally, and how you show up at your highest possible level. Transmutation simply means taking the energy from one state, changing it into a different state of energy, or even changing the location of the energy from one place to another. So transmuting just means take the energy of, let's just say, sadness and turning it into an energy of motivation, taking the energy of frustration and turning it into anger, taking the energy of happiness and turning it into activity. So remember, the law of conservation of energy says energy is neither created nor destroyed. It merely moves from one object to another and it changes form. That's the only thing that happens to energy. So there is a certain amount of energy in the universe. It never goes up and never goes down. It just moves around into different places and it changes its form. So you can have a whole bunch of positive energy and you can turn it into negative energy. You can have negative energy, turn it into positive energy, but you do not reduce or increase the amount of energy. That is impossible. Now, you can with an individual. Let's say you could have no energy at 10 o'clock, but by 11 o'clock, you have a ton of energy. That's because you got the energy from somewhere. Right? It was stored somewhere in the universe outside of yourself. You got it into yourself, and now you have energy to go and move things. So you as an entity can go from low energy to high energy, but the amount of energy available in the entirety of the universe did not increase just because your energy went up. You just went and absorbed some of the energy from the universe that was already there. And this is your job, to keep your energy up. And this is why we talk about energy in so many episodes in the history of this show. I'll refer you to a few of them for any of you who is unfamiliar. I mean, there's so many, I'm not going to list them all. But episode 3018, just a few days ago, we talked about 2-minute warning energy. Episode number 2490, how to channel negative emotions into positive energy and action. That's literally transmutation, what we're talking about right now. Episode 2350, how to have more energy. Episode 2278, how to change your energy quickly. Episode 1922, the 5 keys to health and energy. Episode number 1680, how to will yourself into a good space and run on your own energy. So as you can see, we're talking about energy a lot around here because it matters so much. So you need this ability to transmute energies from any state that the energy currently is to any state that you want it to be. Remember that, again, you don't destroy energy, you do not create energy, you absorb it and you send it out. But it doesn't go away or appear in any random forms. So your job is to take any energy you can get your hands on, regardless of what it is, transmute it to the type of energy that you want or need, and then move it to the place that's most beneficial for you. That's it. And these are all skills, by the way. This is not some God-given ability that certain people have and others don't. These are all skills, which means they are practiced abilities that anyone can develop if you are conscious and intentional about them, and you can develop these at any time and use them for any purpose. Moving on to point number 3. Today's topic, once again, is every energy is useful. Number 3, the place that you don't want to be, regardless of what energies you're working with or have, or you're working on transmuting, the one place you don't want to be is in a state of feeling nothing at all, where you just feel no energy. You're just completely numb with, there's no energy coursing through you in any way, shape, or form, through you, from you, or to you. That's where you don't want. This is the no man's land that many people's lives get wasted in when they just have no energy for anything. This is when you're not feeling anything positive that's going to drive you forward towards the things that you want. You also aren't feeling anything negative that may cause you to push back and push away from the things that you don't want. See, either one of those energies is useful. How many of you has ever been moved to action by something that you were disappointed with, you disagreed with, you were pushing back against, or something that you just straight up hated or disliked strongly enough that you were able to move yourself to action? How many of you have had that experience? Everybody's had that experience. And how many of you have ever been moved to action because there was something that you wanted and you were compelled to go forward in order to get to it? Everybody's had that experience as well. And actually, I will also say, how many of you have ever had the experience where you were in the middle? You weren't feeling strongly in a negative way about something. You also weren't feeling strongly in a positive way. You were just kind of in this blah type of energy where you weren't feeling excited in any way for anything. And therefore, it was hard to move yourself to any strong action of conviction simply because you had no conviction about anything in the moment. All of us have experienced all of those. And hopefully, that third one, where you're not feeling anything about anything, you want to reduce the amount of time you spend in that energy, because clearly it wasn't useful for you then, it won't be useful for you now or in the future. So regardless of what energy you are dealing with, you need to be feeling, you just want to be feeling something, okay? Because feelings are emotions and emotions are energy. All right, so emotions are useful, even though we're in the emotional management business. This is something I've talked about here. Emotional management doesn't mean emotional deletion. It just means managing. It means take the energy where it is, the emotion rather, where it is, and the energy of that emotion and move it to where it is useful. And if it's not useful over here, move it over there. Doesn't work over there, move it to another place and keep moving it until you find a place in which it is useful to you. So your job is to be feeling something so you can utilize the energy to get what you want. As we may say, inspiration or desperation. All right, one or the other. Inspiration is you're excited and compelled forward. Desperation is you want to get away from something and maybe push away. Either energy is useful because either one can be utilized to move oneself to action. But when you're in the middle space, neither excited nor despondent about your situation, you can and will grow complacent with the situation and then sleepwalk your way through life as there is no energy there. There's nothing moving you to wake up from your sleep. This is what we do when we have no energy, right? What do most of us do when we have no energy? And it's funny that I just had a yawn creep in right there, right when I'm talking about this. What do we do when we have no energy? Usually we go to sleep, we take a nap, or you fall asleep even if you're not trying to. You go to sleep at night, but you don't be sleeping through all your life. All right, so we sleep every day because we use up the battery of our energy. The good thing is you get a good night's sleep, you get a whole new full battery of energy for the following day. This is why keeping your energy up matters so much. And keeping your energy up is there's a physical aspect to it. There's a mental aspect to it. There is a nutrition aspect. What are you actually putting in your body? When I talk about the 5 keys to health and energy, I talk about mental, just staying mentally activated, whatever you're doing to get your mind in the right space. Some people call these affirmations. Some of you may have daily statements that you do. If you read my book, The Mental Workbook, I lay out for you exactly how to lay out what you would say to yourself in the morning, or Napoleon Hill, he calls it auto suggestion, suggestions that you make to yourself. These are all forms of getting your mental energy in the right space. Then there's physical energy. Physical energy comes in the form of, number one, are you exercising? Number two, what are you putting in your body? And number three, what kind of maintenance are you doing to and on and for your body? If you work out on a consistent basis, you need to be doing maintenance on a consistent basis so that those muscles can loosen up, stay pliable and flexible, stay healthy, and so that you stave off any potential injuries that could happen in the process of exercising. So those are the other three. And the other thing is flexibility. Flexibility is about your ability to literally move your body in a full range of motion. The more flexible you are, usually the better you'll be and the longer you'll last, because your muscles can be stretched further than normal and not be stressed because you're used to doing it. That's why you want to do this on a consistent basis. These are all different forms of energy. And the other thing I say when I talk about those 5 keys of energy is water. Water is very important for just the human animal, simply because we are made up of more water than any other element. Your skin, your muscles, your brain, all of them are made up of and require a lot more water than any other substance. So if you're giving your body anything, at least give your body some water. These are all forms of getting your energy up. And again, you go to sleep at night every day, most of you, most of the time. Therefore, you should not be trying to conserve energy, because again, The law of conservation of energy says there's no such thing as conserving energy because it doesn't get created and doesn't get destroyed. So what are you saving it for? Right? Again, it's not like you can hoard energy. All right, energy is energy, and people have it or they don't. But it's not something that you can just put away to the side for yourself and put it in the safe so that nobody else can get to it. It doesn't work that way. Let's recap today's class, which says every energy rather, is useful. And when I talked about being prepared to do your best work, energy is one of the keys for it. Because if you don't have the right energy, then there's no way you can do your best work. In a, let's say, a vehicle analogy, the energy is the gas that you put in the tank. The driver is the person coming up with the directions, and the maps is the why. I mean, the what, excuse me. What do we want to achieve? What's the end game here? The why is the energy, and the how is the person who's driving the car. That's the technical space. That's the technical position space that you get in where I'm just going to navigate the situation, figure out what to do with it. So, again, recapping this class, which is every energy is useful. Number one, energy is 85% of the job. You have capacity to do work. The more energy you have, the more effect you can have on other people, places, things, circumstances, and yourself. And I would guess that even if you don't want to impact other people, you want to impact yourself. Number two, transmutation. This is about taking energy from one space and transmuting it into a different space. Keeping in mind that energy is neither created nor destroyed. So you can take any energy that you're feeling, even if it's one that you don't want, and you can transmute that energy into something that you do want. This is a mental alchemy process. This is something that I teach in my Bulletproof Mindset program. If you are not in it, make sure you get in it, again, by going to workonyourgameuniversity.com. Number three, where you don't want to be is in feeling nothing. That means you have no inspiration to go forward, no desperation to stay away from going backward. There's nothing really pulling you or pushing you towards what you want, and you're pretty ambivalent about the entirety of the situation. You don't want to feel this. Ambivalence is a no man's land that many people spend their lives wasting because they never want to step into the cauldron of where maybe a little bit hotter and the temperature a little bit higher and expectations on you a little bit stronger. Many people don't want to step into that, so they rather hang in a no man's land of feeling nothing. Problem is, when you feel nothing, you do nothing, you get nothing. And when you don't feel any energy at all, positive or negative, then you're in a bad space. And when you get energy in a place, you can use that energy to get whatever it is that you want. So either one can be used to move you to action. Okay? But if you're in the middle space, neither excited nor despondent, you may grow complacent and sleepwalk your way through life as there is no energy remaining. But what you want to do is be able to go to sleep at night and not sleep all night. You want to go to sleep at night, wake up in the morning so you can get back to the business, get back to the game plan, whatever it is for you. You don't have a business, you don't have a game plan, come into the Work on Your Game University. I'll help you out. So text me so you're in my community. My number's down below in the description. And as I just mentioned, Work on Your Game University. That's where you can get coached by me. That's where you can get access to our 2 physical mailings we send out every month to your physical mailbox or doorstep. And also get access to all of our trainings, all of our courses on mindset, strategy, systems, and accountability for your business. That's all at workonyourgameuniversity.com. Your personal life as well, and work on your game. Dre all day.